I guess this is more of a question of continuity. You have espoused mass support for tariffs as long-term economic policy. Um, how do you reconcile that with your now like using it in more of a leverage sense?
Great question. Just so we're clear, there's still a 10% tariff
yeah.
that's in place. So I think a baseline tariff is perfectly fine. When we are starting to get to 30, 40, 50% of like arbitrary, very high numbers, I think that de-incentivizes reciprocal trade. But I think a 10% baseline is very fair to be a forcing function as well.
There's a lot of talk about what's happening in Israel right now. Hostages being released, terrorists resurfacing, Gaza plans, and so on. But there's one thing we tend to overlook: the people of Israel. The war has taken a huge physical and emotional toll on the Jewish people. And that's why I want you to know about the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. And I want you to support the important work they do. IFCJ is on the ground throughout Israel, providing food and life-saving aid to the sick and elderly, even released hostages and their families. Join with me and visit ifcj.org/learn more.
So for example, if you're Toyota, how does Toyota avoid a tariff?
Make it in America.
Make it in America.
Yeah.
So what we want to try to do is at least give a little bit of a nudge so that these foreign companies are incentivized to make their products in this country.
I guess a follow-up to that. When Trump, I guess one of my main criticisms of the tariffs, I do agree like a blanket low tariff, I'm not necessarily against. One of my issues is I feel like there's a lack of transparency in the goal of these tariffs, where you see our economy seemingly crash and then somewhat come back.
Well, the market, not the economy.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you're right.
market.
Just to be clear, the economy would not have gone well in 9 months if the bond market collapsed. I will give you that.
Yeah, and we have an issue like China and all the bonds and stuff. But, sorry, I forget what I was talking about.
Continuity is.
Oh, yeah.
You're probably going to argue that there's not a transparent agenda,
transparent,
so it's very volatile,
Yes.
so people don't know what to expect.
Yeah, like if Trump's goal wasn't for these long-term economic tariffs to last, why was so much political power put into trying to justify them?
Well,
instead
number
of
one,
using
he's
them
going
as
to get a
leverage?
much better deal because of it. There is something in clinical political science, classical political science, called madman theory.
Nixon.
Yeah, and Trump is the madman theory, which is
I agree to.
and it's a real
It's
thing.
the best example.
We
of
can
it,
make
yeah.
fun of him for it, but in political science, it's studied as a proven methodology where you don't know which way he's going to go, up or down, and by doing that, you can actually get a much better deal.
That's perfectly fair. I think I just disagree with the positing of
cool.
tariffs as long-term
And I
economic.
also want to make sure that it's clear I have some humility when it comes to tariffs.
Yeah.
We don't know how this is going to work out. But the American people voted for it. I think a 10% baseline tariff is prudent and fair. And we want to try to get more of our goods to be able to be sold in these countries.